Hey everyone, it's Jessie from Manifesto, and I decided to do a clean with me video today. So this is my little nail salon after my last two clients of the day. I did have a nail client and then I had an electrolysis client right afterwards. So I'm going to get right into cleaning here. I like to start with the electrolysis just because it takes up a little bit more room. I always fold my sheet inwards just because of the hair. That way I don't have to sweep up anything more than I have to. And I always spray down my bed and I just kind of set it aside just so that lets the cleaner sit on it for a little bit longer. And off to the side there, I'm putting my sharps in the sharps container and then bringing over my supplies into my dirty container for things that need to be cleaned. And then I spray everything down, the cord, the tips, the machine. Everything that I've used gets sprayed down just to keep everything nice and clean. And lots of views of my butt. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it goes when you're cleaning. But yeah, just kind of organizing things and putting everything back in place. And anything that I touch, I wipe down. I do wear gloves and everything, but it's still just a practice that I'm always in the habit of doing, and I just think the cleaner the better. And then I always kick my foot paddle underneath just so it's not in the way and spray my chair down. So I just have, I used to have two chairs that I would use, one for electrolysis, one for nails, but since I'm in such a small place, I just use the one rolly chair for myself, and then the chair without wheels is for the client, and I spray that down as well. And just kind of putting everything back in its home. And starting with the easiest, put my money away, and then I put my background props just kind of behind my hamper. And just kind of getting the gel polishes put away and any brushes that were just easy to drop in. And for this client, I had used about 4 or 5 different kinds of Swarovski crystals. So I'm just putting them all back into their containers and twisting up the pots so they're all nice and secure. And at this point I remembered I still had bits in my e-file, and I always keep the other, I usually use 2 bits and I usually keep the other one kind of in the handrest cradle, and so I just throw those into my dirty implements thing, clean off some of my brushes and put them away. And just there was a lot of garbage on my desk and whatnot, and finally getting those crystals back where they belong. So what I'm doing now is just my normal routine that I would do in between clients for cleaning. I would make sure I throw my towel and anything into the hamper. Then I would clean out my vent, my Valentino, and put that back. Then I would spray everything down. My desk, the vent. I take my lamps apart and do the insides as well, and that's just kind of my regular in-between cleaning. And obviously I'm doing a little bit of a deeper clean today because it's the end of the day, but yeah, just in between I give everything a quick spray just so things are clean in between clients. And then I always reset my table with a fresh towel and then set up everything so I'm ready to go for the next client. And because it's the end of the day, I do my sweeping, and I sort of made a big mess when I emptied my vent on my first client of the day, and I kind of just like continued to make a bit of a mess. So there is a lot more dust on the floor than there normally is. I'm normally a little bit better, but I was back to back today with clients, so I was a little bit more rushed than usual. And so, yeah, I just kind of push everything out of the way, get in all the little corners, and make sure I give everything a really good sweep. I find a lot of times, especially on a day like today, I had removed a bunch of crystals, so there was a few crystals kind of just all over the place. So it's really good to get in all the corners and get everything dusted out. I carry that all the way out down the hallway, and I do the stairs as well. Then I wipe down my Valentino and put it away. I generally don't leave it on the desk. I don't always need it for every client, so I just tuck it on my bookshelf. And I'm noticing that there's a lot of cords on the floor. It's not usually this bad, but how I had stuff set up for filming, I needed to have a few more cords out than usual. I also take out my garbage, which was really full, and this is what it looks like all tidied up. So it's looking a lot better than it was. And then I go on to my dirty implements, which the bin is pretty full today. So I always take it to my guest bathroom, which is near my salon. So the cleaning process that I'm doing is just what my province tells me I need to do to operate my business. So just make sure that you're following your rules and regulations for your province or state, country, whatever you need to follow. I do lukewarm soapy water. I scrub things vigorously, and then I rinse them in water after. I kind of cut out a big portion of this just because it does take a while to do. And this is just to give you an idea of what my cleaning day looks like anyway, so you don't need to see the whole process. Anyway, after I'm done, I make sure I rinse out my dirty implements dish, and then I take all my implements and I lay them out to dry. And then once they're completely dry, I'll put my bits in bit cleaner and just let them soak for 10 minutes. And obviously I don't use a whole lot at a time. I just make sure that they are covered. Then I take my implements and I put them in my CS20 and let those soak for the allotted time. And anything that doesn't fit in there or doesn't really need to be in there, I just spray it down with my sanitizer. So once my bits have been in for the allotted time, I take them out and I put them in my bit holder, which sits to the side of my desk and is covered at all times so it doesn't get any dirt or anything on it, so they stay nice and clean. Then once my implements have come out of the sanitizer, I individually pack them in seals bags. They actually are still damp at this point, which is why I'm wearing the gloves, because the CS20 can give you a pretty nasty chemical burn. I have gotten it several times because I'm always like, oh, it should be dry, or if I just grab it quickly, it won't hurt, but it always does hurt. It will like burn your skin pretty badly. So I do 2 sizes of the bags. The bigger size is for the nippers, and the smaller size I use for the smaller implements like the pushers and the toenail clippers and things like that. So, and I always make sure that the joints are working really well on my nippers, because there's nothing worse than having a really stiff joint when you're trying to work on a customer. And then I go ahead and seal all the bags. And then my next step after that, I date them all with the date that they were done. This was obviously on the 18th. And after that, I separate them into 3 piles because I have 3 spots where I put all my implements. I have my nail desk, my pedicure cart, and then my electrolysis cart. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all later. Bye.